Addiction and concentration. Every living entity is by nature always in a state of addiction, or at least craving addiction. There are two kinds of addictions, we could say: the good addiction, the wanted addiction, and the bad addiction, unwanted addiction. Concentration. The living entity, every living entity, especially humans, like to be focused, absorbed, and concentrated. As a matter of fact, this need is so prominent in human psychology that if there is nothing else to be focused on, the living entity will focus him or herself on even such a dumb and trivial thing as sports, entertainment, collection of things that have no intrinsic objective value in one's life. But somehow or other, the living entity likes to be focused, likes to be concentrated. There's a great pleasure to be had there. Now, addiction, the unwanted addiction. The unwanted addiction is characterized by the mode of passion, and the mode of passion in Sanskrit language is called rajas or rajasic. Its nature is that it's very, very absorbing. It really concentrates one, it absorbs one. Um, what are the passionate activities or passionate addictions? Drugs, alcohol, sex, career, business, so on. These activities tend to absorb one's whole being. Um, they permeate every square inch of your body, especially very passionate things such as sex and drugs. They just completely permeate every square inch of one's consciousness, one's attention, one's intellect, one's mind. And therefore, it is very seductive. It is very, very seductive because by nature, living entities like to be focused. Now, this reminds me of something I've seen many years ago on a documentary on a TV, many years ago, um, where they showed these mountain monkeys, and you could see that the mountain was covered in snow, which indicated it was quite cold outside. And in the middle of all this cold, snow-covered environment, there was a hot, mineral hot spring, mineral hot pool. And needless to say, the heat, the warm water was very seductive to the monkeys. And you could see occasionally a monkey jumping into the pool. And of course, the first experience of the pool was great. It was wonderful. It was warm and pleasant and cozy and comforting and so on. However, the problem is, uh, number one, that while while a monkey would be staying in the water, it'd be experiencing a sensual saturation. In other words, the senses get saturated and they adapt, they adjust to the environment, and therefore the hot, warm, cozy environment provided by that hot pool is not so anymore. As a matter of fact, it turns to be uncomfortable, and the monkey wants to leave. And then the second thing is, monkey is not an animal of the water, so it cannot stay there forever. It has to come out. Now, when the monkey comes out, monkey is in a way worse situation than he was in before, because not only that it's cold outside, but on top of it, the monkey is wet. So then you see monkey, running around trying to, warm himself up, and it's very uncomfortable outside, very uncomfortable. So the monkey goes back into the water. Now, when it goes back into the water is not as pleasing as it was the first time. So, it comes out sooner. And then when it comes out again, is in the same situation. It's cold and it's wet, and therefore the experience is quite unpleasant. So he ends up like this, alternating back and forth, back and forth. Similarly, passionate addictions or addictions to the absorption in the mode of passion are just like that. First, they're very absorbing. Therefore they're very seductive. However, their nature is such that one cannot stay in that absorption for prolonged periods of time, for a simple reason that they're very, very destructive. Uh, they destroy you, sex, drugs, alcohol, business, money making, you name it, all these passion activities, they're destructive. They destroy you emotionally, they destroy you physically, they destroy you mentally, intellectually, emotionally, and too often spiritually. So therefore, one cannot stay in that passionate absorption for too long and has to snap out of it. So once one stops with that activity, comes out of it, this is where the problem begins. One is in a way worse situation than one was in before. Why? Because once that absorption of the mode of passion is over, one feels empty. No interest in anything. Nothing is as satisfying because, for a simple reason, nothing is as absorbing. So even though one may overcome a physical addiction, there's still this big emotional, mental emptiness that one feels, and therefore one often resorts to going back to the mode of passion. Therefore, understanding clearly the nature of addiction characterized by the mode of passion, one should carefully avoid it. One should carefully avoid it, and on one hand, and then on the other hand, one should search for absorption that's characterized by the mode of goodness, the sattva. Sattva means the nature of your existence. So sattvic means that it's very much in sync with the deepest, the truest nature of yourself. And meditation, prayer, these activities are characterized by sattvic absorption. And on the contrary to the passionate addiction or passionate concentration, they build you, they make you strong, they build you, they help you physically, mentally, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually on all 5 levels. They're building, and this is the kind of absorption that one can maintain for prolonged periods of time. As a matter of fact, one can maintain these absorptions, the sattvic absorptions, forever. So I hope this helps. Hare Krishna.